Yes, my name is White Emmanuel White. I am from Delta State of Nigeria, you know, uh, and I'm a public analyst. So I am here to say what I see, what I know, and what I understand in the goings on in Nigeria presently. Uh, Talking about Donald Trump, of the president of America, United States of America, moving forces to Nigeria, to actually curb the insurgencies, the terrorism, the kidnappings, and the religious genocide on the Christians in Nigeria. Now, some people, unfortunately, are saying there is no genocide in Nigeria. I don't understand. But I tell you the truth that there is genocide, Christian genocide in Nigeria. You understand? So, and that is what is bringing Donald Trump and the American forces into Nigeria. Nothing will stop Donald Trump. Trump has said he's coming and he's coming.
But the government said they have not been enough to the extent that there's possibility that US might not likely invade Nigeria militarily. But we are seeing another report that the northern part of the country, and of course Nigeria, is under serious air surveillance currently now.
If the Congress has approved, American Congress has approved the United States moving their forces into Nigeria, I don't see any lobby that will stop Donald Trump from doing that, from not doing that. So Donald Trump will back himself up with the Congress. And also, United Nations is there. They are also seeing all what is going on. And I tell you the truth, if you are listening to Pastor Ashimolo, who grew up in the north, yesterday, he gave analysis of genocide, how genocide has been going on, Christian genocide has been going on in Nigeria, all far back, from the late 60s, early 70s, and even now. He gave graphic analysis of it. He grew up from the north. He even mentioned his northern name, his mother northern name, his father northern name. So the man knew what he was saying as yesterday, So the genocide is still going on, and Trump is still watching very closely. America watching very closely. Other countries watching very closely. And to be frank and sincere with you, American forces will come.
Okay, sir, thank you for that beautiful insight. One more question, very important that you react to it because of a lot of people who want to hear your vision, your version, or your reaction to what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, considering the fact that most of the things Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about has continued to stare Nigeria in the face. What actually come to your mind when you notice at the public hearing in the United States of America that the judgment passed on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was totally condemned by the US government?
That judgment was a strange judgment. And that judgment actually has become an embarrassment to our legal system. After all, Obasanjo said so. So if Obasanjo, that has been a one-time head of state and one-time president, civilian president of Nigeria, who knows it all, will say that judgment actually is an embarrassment to Nigeria and our legal system. In fact, the condemnation on that judgment continue to make Mazi Nnamdi Kanu popular the more. Even in the prison, he's popular. Outside Nigeria, he's popular. And within Nigeria, he's becoming more and more popular. Even from tribes, ethnic groups that are not Igbo, Everyone has joined together to condemn, that judgment. And I'm very, very sure and hopeful that in the appeal court, that judgment will be overturned because it's not standing on any constitutional law at all. That's how it is.
But do you think that with the same judiciary we are talking about, the same judiciary they are going to run to in times of filing applications, for appeal? Do you think that such some people are saying it's even dangerous to go to appeal because of the fact that it's the same government, it's the same people, and how do you now be sure that you are going to get reversal to that judgment, even though Motosho has said that they can seek redress in the appeal court?
Yes, I think it can be overturned because of the public
Outcry. Yeah.
public condemnation. And it's not a matter of sympathizing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No, it's a matter of facing the fact, the reality, the legal, standing of the judgment that was passed on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Showore told us that James Omotosho was reading it from the phone. I don't understand. A judgment that was, actually sent into his phone. That was what he was reading. You understand? So if we go into all this, you find out that the judgment can be overturned by the appeal court. Yes, we agree, that it is the same APC government. But in time past, we have also seen judges that decline to handle Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case because of what they see there. So we are very sure that we can also see such thing happening in the Court of Appeal. Remember that the Court of Appeal is not the same with the High Court, where they will now start going into nitty-gritty. No, their own is judgment, as you understand. And they look into it and say, yes, what is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. I think we have hope there in the Court of Appeal.
Sir, does it mean to you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has deepened the global agitation and solidarity for Biafra? And people are saying that at the coming of the United States of America into Nigeria as a result of genocide, considering the fact that the Department of War said that they are going to put all options, I'm talking about Raleigh Moore, a US Senator, on the table. Those options, the federal government is interpreting it to mean disintegration and recognition of Biafra to stop these Fulani incursions in all the regions. Do you subscribe to that?
Yes, now, why? One of the American congressmen has said it that if giving Biafra to the Igbos will bring peace to Nigeria, he said, so let it be. We are looking for peace, and every avenue that will give us peace, we will work towards that. And the American government is ready to join us to work towards that. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been tested and proved that he is not just going for money. It's not a question of say this Biafra issue is for sale. Money has been offered, oil well has been offered, and he turned them down. Remember that a traditional ruler was saying that a man who has sacrificed his mother and his father for such cause is a man that should be reckoned with. Let him put his feet on the ground. Because even when the Abia State governor visited him, Abia State governor, the offering came up again, 500 billion and oil well. But he told the governor, no, we are talking of life, and we are talking of the freedom of the Igbo people from a country that has actually disregarded them in spite of all the inputs that they make to this country called Nigeria. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to put his feet on the ground, it is either he gets the Biafra or the federal government must come with something that will convince him that the Igbos will live in freedom, free to contest any post in Nigeria and also to win any post in Nigeria. Also should be assured that they can also be president of Nigeria. They can be president of Nigeria from the Igbo stock. And these are the things that we are looking at today.
Okay.
Kudos to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it seems that the Sultan of Sokoto is having a secret admiration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, giving his statement. We don't want to look at that, but what we are saying at this point in time is, how do you look at the infiltration of jihadists, ISWAP, in the entire region in Nigeria, including South and, of course, Southeast? Is it not still the same conquest agenda, or is it anything that is behind it? Why will the North be going to the South to kill, and the South is not going to the North to kill?
Yes, it is a conquest agenda. Even before the election that kicked Jonathan out of power, they have planned it long ago. And the whole thing started from Babangida era. When Babangida took us to OIC, took Nigeria to OIC, and then there was a grand plan to Islamize Nigeria. And it is that same plan that they are executing today, and it is better to stop them now. And because we don't have the power to stop them, because of the Fulani's dominant
Yes.
in government and also in the north. That is why we are welcoming Donald Trump of the United States of America to come in and actually save us from it. Because before you know it now, Christians in Nigeria will be wiped out, not only in the north as we are experiencing now, even in the south also. So this is the very time that we need help from America. Talking about Sultan of Sokoto, let Nnamdi Kanu not fall for it, I want to turban you, you want to do this one, you want to do all this one. You cannot trust the Fulani man. Whenever they plan anything, they put it in their heart and they put it in their agenda. It can even take 50 years to hash such thing. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should not fall for that plan, which the Sultan of Sokoto is being spearheaded now to carry out that plan. His admiration now is suspicious, which he never did before. And you can even imagine now that even Hassan Coker is trying to dance to their tune now. Hassan Coker, who used to be, a man that we know for standing for the truth, has now began to show the man in him. The man in him. Because, the Bible said, God told us in the Bible, don't put your trust in any man, because the arm of flesh will fail you. Kuka is now failing us, as he visited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And when the government deliberately moved Nnamdi Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto prison to see what Bishop Hassan Coker would do. So we are now seeing what Bishop Hassan Coker would do. And instead of going to into solidarity with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now condemning what we thought that he will work for. You understand? That is what Bishop Hassan Kuka has turned out to be now. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
sir.
you cannot trust this other man.
Okay, finally,
Yes.
on this, we're looking at the same Mazi Nnamdi Kanu we are talking about
Yeah.
today. Moved to Sokoto prison. The Fulanis, the Northerners, got him arrested. They never tried him, or whatever it is. But we saw in less than 2 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he sentenced him to life imprisonment and him over to the Sokoto Caliphate.
Yes.
Was it? Is it a proxy war or hatred against the Igbos, like many people are speculating? So, in your honest opinion, how would you react to that?
I think there is an hatred for the Igbo people in the heart, in the deep heart of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is how I see it. You know, all what that have played out now. You know, considering what the Igbos have done in Lagos State, how they brought massive development to Lagos State. You know, they are everywhere. Their businesses are in Lagos State. One would have expected that Bola Ahmed Tinubu would have actually have a large heart to any Igbo man that has any ordeal like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. After all, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was related from, Kenya, illegally. You know, what has never happened before. Buhari tried it way during the time of Idiagbo, and to Marobiko, and he failed. But the Kenyan government danced to the tune of Buhari again, and Buhari repeated the same thing and kidnapped somebody and brought the person to Nigeria, without going through all diplomatic, protocols, and legality. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was brought to Nigeria, illegally by APC government. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an APC government, is a member of APC. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim, like Buhari also. You understand? And so you would like imagine him, championing Muslim ticket that is causing problem for Nigeria today. So I think he has hidden hatred for the Igbo people, and he has proved it now by what he is doing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and other Igbo people that are trying to aspire to become top government official